Good morning, YouTube, and today we have Ancient Gears. This is a deck that if you've been following the channel, you know that I love this deck and I've built it for a very long time, and with new support, we have new text, so let's hop right into it. Starting off with our monsters, we have a playset of the original Ancient Gear Golem. I elected to play him instead of throwing in like one ultimate ground pound because the special summon prevention is the same for both, and he has the battle trap prevention, so I just kind of enjoy him a little bit more. You can choose to obviously take out one or two and throw in the ultimate pound depending on your playstyle. I play one Ancient Gear Reactor Dragon. I was playing two. I just like him at one because I don't really need the rank 9 XCs in here, and this is a nice just spot removal. Removes your opponent's back row, can pop a Gear Town, can pop Fortress. It's just a really good all-around card, and I couldn't take it out because it's still a pretty good card. One Ancient Gear Megaton Golden. This is something that's really weird, and again, I used to have two of that, and then seeing these two one-offs. I like to go into rank 8s with this deck, have options to be able to do so, and with Gear Town you can't special summon your Ancient Gear Golem. So I like to have the Megaton Dragon in case if I have a Catapult and a Fortress, and I know my opponent has some search preventers, so I don't want to go into a Wyvern, or whatever the case, I like to have an option for rank 8 XCs, and Megaton Dragon is pretty good anyway with 3000 beater, and he has battle trap and prevention as himself, so I kind of enjoy to still keep him in there. Next, I run a playset of Ancient Gear Engineer. I like to have as many names as possible in this deck, and Engineer is also an ability to go into Cyber Dragon Infinity. So Engineer also can pop back row, so it's pretty good. All around, just a great card, and he's normal summon with Gear Town. So I keep him in a playset of 3, just because it's good to have some extra names in here, and it's not too bad of a normal summon if you have Gear Town, which you hopefully will. Next, I play Ancient Gear Wyvern. You definitely probably want to play a playset of him. He searches any Ancient Gear card. It's just a play starter. All around, just a great card. If you know Ancient Gears, you know Wyvern. Next, I elected to run a playset of Ancient Gear Frame. This is the new guy that just came out. And let me read his effect for you, just because you can discard one card, so this is while he's on the field, add one Ancient Gear Golem or one spell trap card that specifically lists the card Ancient Gear Golem and its text from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Ancient Gear Frame once per turn. If the card attacks, your opponent can activate spell trap cards until the end of the damage step. If this face-up card and its owner's control leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect by any means, you can special summon up to 3 Ancient Gear Golem or Ancient Gear Golem ultimate pounds from your hand, ignoring their summoning conditions. So, I like him because he searches your new fusion card. It's all around. I used to run Knight because, again, I like to just have more names. This is far better than running that Knight, which is a normal summon that's kind of just dead. Whereas this guy, he's searchable off a box. He gives you potential to get those surplus of Ancient Gear Golems I run in here. All around, just a great new card. You can run them at 2 or 1. I've seen people mostly run them at 2. But I like him in the playset just so you can see him a little bit more and you have an extra name. Anyway, I was talking about the Ancient Gear box, and I run a playset of it. There's so many times where I've gone to events where I just, I'm like, I need a box. I'm out of boxes. So I decided to bump him up to 3 because it's an all-around great card, so I kept him in there at 3. Next, we run a playset of Ancient Gear Hunting Hound. There are so many different ways to fusion with this deck, and it's semi-consistent, able to do so. So, you normal summon Hound, usually, you're like, okay, you burn them for 600, and then you can use them as a material and as the fusion to special summon an Ancient Gear from your extra deck, which now has a little bit more versatility. Usually you want to go for your Chaos Giant, but sometimes you just can't. So, he just has so many more options, and definitely something you want to see in your opening hand if you have the opportunity to. Next, I run a playset of Gear Town. Gear Town is Gear Town, always a staple at 3 in Ancient Gears. Just a beautiful all-around card. Your opponent destroys it, you can special summon stuff. You destroy it, you can special summon stuff. You can tribute, or you can normal summon for 1 less tribute of an Ancient Gear monster, which is kind of cute, and you can be able to do it with your Engineer in this deck a little bit more. Along with that, I run a playset of Ancient Gear Catapult. This is a fantastic card, probably one of the best in the deck, in my opinion. You see Gear Town or Terraforming, and you see a Catapult, you're feeling pretty darn good about your opening plays. Next, I elected to run a playset of Ancient Gear Fortress. This is something a lot of people have been running 1 or 2 of, but I like it at 3 for the fact it gives you another target for your catapult if you don't see Gear Town for some reason. It gives you the ability to have your feel safe activating your Ancient Gear effects. So if you see a Terraforming, catapult, and Fortress in your opening hand, you're like, whoa, okay, so I can just go off because you can play your catapult. Your opponent can't respond to that, so you pop your Gear Town and get a special summon of monsters. All that time, your opponent can't respond to the Ancient Gear effects, and so you're able to hopefully extend a little bit more just with that playset. I like to only run 1 Ancient Gear Fusion. Now here's the reason why. Because I like to still run Power Bond in here, because Power Bond gives you more of a stat boost, and you also have your Hunting Hound, so you run a lot of abilities to go into your fusions in here. This gives you definitely an extra reason, or an extra means to special summon your Ancient Gears. Let me read its effect. It's pretty darn awesome. Fusion summon 1 Ancient Gear Fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion materials. If you use an Ancient Gear Golem or Ancient Gear Golem Ultimate Pound you control, so it has to be on the field, as a fusion material, you can also use monsters from your deck as material. So what's really nice is if you're kind of stuck and your opponent, negates a catapult or negates your Gear Town, you just get out Ancient Gear Golem. It's nice to be able to have this as an option so you can fuse with your deck. That's always a fantastic thing. The only disadvantage is that in order to fusion with your deck, you have to control an Ancient Gear Golem. So that's why it's it backtracks a little bit because of that, but there's just still fantastic. It gives you another fusion option that's fantastic, and it's searchable with the deck. That's also great. Next, I still like to run a playset of Power Bond. The reason I decided to run this instead of an Ancient Gear Fusion at 2 or 3 is this gives you that double attack. It's just so good in this deck, and really, I can't really see myself ever cutting it down from 3 unless it gets hit off the ban list, because it's just that good of a card. And it wins you games. If you see this in your opening hand with Ancient Gear monsters, because you play plenty of different names in here, you're feeling pretty good about yourself. Next, I run a playset of Terraforming. You want to see Gear Town as quick as possible, especially with your new Ancient Gear frame. This gives you the ability to just discard it as fodder if you have the extra Terraforming, but honestly, I've never seen a point where having 3 is a bad thing. We run a playset of Mystical Space Typhoon. Now, the reason I run this over Cosmic Cyclone, Twin Twisters, Galaxy Cyclone, any of those, is because this can pop your own cards, doesn't have a cost, and it's sent to the graveyard rather than banishing. So, really, MST kind of just gives you the advantage you need if you're not necessarily wanting to pop your opponent's back row. It gives you the ability to do it on yourself, too, which is something that's pretty darn nice to be able to have in this deck. So I run that as a playset, and of course it's back row removal. Our one-offs, limiter removal, because limiter removal is great in any machine deck, just gives you a little bit of overkill sometimes, so it's pretty good. Monster Reborn, because we can now play it. Yes, your Ancient Gear Golem can't be a target, but every other card in here can. So it's pretty darn great. And a Gehrke. Do you need a Gehrke? Probably not. You have, if your opponent has a field full of monsters and you have Chaos Giant available, you don't really want to play Gehrke because you can get more damage off if your opponent has more monsters. But I like it in here because sometimes you just need that little oomph to go for game. Moving on to our extra deck, we run 2 Chaos Ancient Gear Giant. There have been times where I need 2. 3 is a little bit too much of an overkill. 2 is just a great number to have. This is your boss monster. This is what wins you a good portion of your games, is getting out this guy. And really a reason why Ancient Gears can contend nowadays. Next we have the new Ancient Gear Megaton Golden. This is really nice in the fact that if you only have 3 Ancient Gears in your hand, you can get this guy out instead. He just is an all-around great card. Lets you special summon your ultimate Ancient Gear Golem from your extra deck if he's removed from the field. It's just all-around fantastic card that the deck really kind of didn't need, but it helps it out so much and makes it even better. Along with that, I play the ultimate Ancient Gear Golem because, it's a great card all around. If you've seen the Ancient Gear Golem and 2 other Ancient Gear cards, you probably want to go for him instead of your Megaton Golem because he's a little bit more attack. But, all around, you can elect to not. It's up to you. Next, I play 2 Howitzer. Howitzer is great. If your opponent just has so many just stall cards and they don't have ways of eliminating your, or if they don't have any ways of winning except for by, just using gimmicky effects to negate yours, you can just win with Howitzer. I was facing a Time Lord deck once for some strange reason, and I just sat on Howitzer. Because Howitzer just continuously just burns, and it's an out, and your opponent can't do anything to it. So it's all around great card, and it can get your play started if you're needing that extra little bit of a boost. Rounding up our fusions, we run a Cycroid. Now, Cycroid is a little bit gimmicky, but he gives you that extra little boost. You get him out with a Power Bond, he becomes a 3200 beater that can attack directly. And that's nothing to argue with. There's so many duplications of cards here in this deck that it's really nice to be able to have this Cycroid and just to go for that extra little chip damage that you can do with it. I play Cyber Dragon Nova and Cyber Dragon Infinity. This is definitely something that I've found has helped out so much. There's usually, if your opponent's thinking the right way, if you win game 1, they're going to make you go first game 2. So you can set on Infinity and feel pretty comfortable with that free negation of a card. All around, just fantastic. And I run Cyber Dragons in the side deck, so I can potentially side in a second Nova and Infinity just because you have the ability to. So it's pretty darn nice. Again, I like to have the ability to go into rank 8s, so we run the new 68. Pretty darn great all-around card. Just gives you some extra bit of time that you need, along with a Hope Harbinger. Spell negation's always great. Cypher Dragon and a Armored Photon Dragon, because you steal your opponent's monster, overlay into a Photon Dragon. That's always great. And for our 4 stars, we run Tornado Dragon. You can pop your own stuff, you can pop your opponent's stuff. Always a great card. And a Baguska to round it up. I like to not run any of the Link monsters because you don't really need that. You don't need extra monster zones, because usually you're going for your big dudes or just one of these dudes until you can get to your big dudes. So you don't really need to extend that much more. That's going to wrap up my Ancient Gear deck profile. This is definitely a deck that you can pick up pretty easily and learn and do pretty decently with. I found it's helped me out through so many different locals and even a few regionals, and it's definitely a contender for being able to go to those kind of events. And it's a deck that you can actually progress with. Like, a lot of people think that it's mindless and you just go for the OTKs or bust, but there's some skill you can use and make this deck a little bit better. I like to not run trade-ins because, Ashes is definitely a thing. And really, I haven't found it bricking that often. Maybe it's just the way I shuffle or something, but it doesn't brick that often. For some surprising reason, you play so many high-star monsters, but it doesn't seem to brick as much. I'm going to knock on wood because, now it's going to start bricking on me. Anyway, there's so I hope you pick up this deck. It should be relatively cheap. I'm not sure how the fusion is going to be. I just ended up pulling it pretty nicely. But everything else should be pretty cheap. And your Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem got a reprint, so now it's even easier to obtain. So I hope you can take something from this profile and make it your own. Thanks very much and have a great day.